Hi, everybody. My name is Mrs. Harper. I'm an EC teacher at Trask Middle School in Wilmington, North Carolina. Originally, I come from Greensboro, North Carolina, where I attended North Carolina A&T State University. Aggie Pride. Okay, so I'm going to get into this section of the book, and I hope you guys enjoy. Page 117, Charisse. Sitting on the back steps of Jolene's house, leaning against the screen door, I watched the snow fall like torn paper out of the gray sky. The snowflakes land on the legs of my jeans and melt until the top of my jeans are soaked clear through, and I don't care at all. Nobody else knows what I did, but I do. I'm the reason our project was torn to pieces. I'm the one who was in the math room when I wasn't supposed to be there, and I'm the one who didn't lock the door. And if you want to go way back again, I'm the reason why my mom died in a car crash. And I'm the reason why my gram went to the hospital and died too. Rondell was right. Nothing was going to fix those torn pieces, not all the glue in the world. I pull out a handful from my backpack and look at all the colors jumbled up together. I think about how close we were to finishing. Maybe only 2 or 3 weeks or so. I remember how the tetrahedron looked in the darkness, just like lace and all, a big tower of lace. Opening my fingers, I let the handful of paper scatter onto the snow. Little flecks of red, blue, green, and purple fell all around my feet. I reach down and pick out a crumpled lavender piece that lands near my shoe. Opening it up and smoothing it on my knee, I can still see the triangle shapes we folded over and over. The purple paper always reminded me of my mom's dress. In my bedroom upstairs in Jolene's house, I keep a small silver-framed photograph of my mom wearing a purple dress. It's a little out of focus, but you can still see it's a nice summer dress with thin straps over the shoulders. My mom was a pretty woman. Stick thin, but pretty, Graham always said. The picture was taken at Methodist Church picnic, and it's the last one I have of her. She's wearing dark sunglasses and sitting between Graham and one of Graham's old friends with her chin resting on her hand like she's looking at something far away. I'm in a baby carrier, half in, half out of the picture. I watch the snowflakes fall on the lavender paper, watch it melt into a piece of soft lavender fabric in my hand, just like my mom's summer dress. I curl my bare fingers around that fabric, holding on. Snowing heavier now, and everything in Jolene's backyard is getting covered. The empty doghouse, the crabapple tree, and the rusty refrigerator leaning against the garage. Won't be too long before the snow covers me up, too. Closing my eyes, I lean back against the door of Jolene's house. I'm not going anywhere. Not to the bus station, or the library, or the school. Not anymore. On Asia. Rondell's mom is my sister, but we are about alike as hot peppers and sweet potatoes or lemon and honey, if you know what I mean. Don't get me wrong, I love my sister to death, but we are not the same people. She walks around with the weight of the world on her shoulders, and probably the rest of the planets too. I just take things as they come. It's easier that way, Anyway, I'm just finishing up my last client at the Style R Us station, old Mrs. Jenkins, who has hair coarse and dry as a wire brush, when Rondell calls. Now, since my sister works at the downtown hospital and taking care of sick folk, isn't as simple as rescheduling haircuts. I've always been kind of like a second mom to Rondell. If she needs to be picked up from school or gets locked out of her house, which Rondell almost never does, of course, being as smart as she is. She's supposed to call me at the salon. You just give me a ring, honey. I'm always telling her, any time of the day, it don't matter. Poor folks' hair can wait, but my only living niece can't. I'm always pestering her to do something whenever she calls to. Rondell's plain looking, but that doesn't mean she can't do nothing to her hair. Come on in and let me fix your hair up for you, I try to beg her. We could put it up, or press it, or curl it, whatever you want, huh? Everybody needs a new look. But like mother, like daughter, I guess. Rondell's been wearing the same pulled back, head-hugging hair as long as I've known her. Still, hope springs eternal. I pick up the phone, thinking maybe this time, maybe she's going to start growing up and caring about her looks. What can I help you with today, Ms. Rondell? I say, balancing the phone on my shoulder and holding up one finger to tell Miss Jenkins, just wait one more minute. Are you busy? Rondell asks in a soft, serious voice, just like her mother. If you're busy, Aunt Asia, I can call back some other time. I squint out the salon window at the falling snow. You suck at school? Once I'm done with Miss Jenkins, I can come on up there and give you a ride home, huh? You don't need to be wandering around catching cold in this kind of weather. But Rondell says no, she doesn't need a ride. She's calling for advice about a friend of hers. I almost dropped the phone, to tell you the truth, because in all the years I've known Rondell, she has never once called about any friends, at least none that I can recall. Although I've asked her about friends so many times, I finally gave up and decided to save my breath. I told my sister that Rondell's shyness was something she should look into, and my sister said she had enough to do, and shyness was better than some things she could name. Like mother, like daughter again. What kind of advice you looking for, hon? I say, trying not to sound too pleased at being asked while giving Mrs. Jenkins another glance. Something happened to school today. To a project we were working on, Rondell says. The story comes out slowly with a lot of hesitations, and I pause. I don't follow a lot of it, but I don't push her for more. A girl who works with me left school right after it happened, Rondell continues. But even before this, there was something wrong with her, I think. I don't know exactly what, but I was wondering, well, her voice hesitates, maybe what to do now. This is more words than Rondell ever says usually, so I'm jumping for joy inside my head at the same time I'm trying to decide what to answer. I tell Rondell that if it was me, and if the girl was my friend, I'd give her a call first. I've had lots of girlfriends in school, Rondell, and we called each other all the time. About big things, little things. We were always there for each other. You know what I mean? But knowing Rondell like I do, it doesn't surprise me at all when she says she doesn't even have the girl's number. Where does she live? Near your street? I ask. Maybe you could try stopping by her house. Just go on over and ask how she's doing. Rondell says she thinks the girl lives on 15th Street, but she doesn't feel right stopping by. I'll just wait till she comes back to school to talk to her. Thanks, Aunt Asia. I'm sorry for bothering you at work. Hold on now, I call out. Old Miss Jenkins reaches up and pats the uncombed side of her wet hair, giving me a tight-lipped, impatient look. After I finish with Mrs. Jenkins here, I'll drive you over to the girl's house to check on her. How about that? I say. No, that's all right. I'll come about 5. No trouble at all. Drive right past 15th on my way home. I gotta go now, hon. See you soon. Sometimes the hot peppers have to tell the slow sweet potatoes what to do, I tell myself as I hang up the phone. If somebody doesn't start pushing Rondell, she's never going to have a soul in this world except me and her mom. And what a pair we are. You know what I mean? Next thing I'm going to do is insist on changing her hair. Rondell. Even though it's snowing and hard enough to be a blizzard, and Aunt Asia is wearing heels and a dress, she still insists on driving me down 15th Street to find Cherise's house. I watch her gold-painted fingernails tighten on the steering wheel as the car wheels slip and slide in the snow. The college word for Aunt Asia is determined. We should turn around and go back, I try to tell her. I'll just talk to Cherise next week. Don't be silly, she answers, leaning closer to the windshield. We're having fun, aren't we? The windshield keeps filling up with snow, even with the wipers going full speed. So Aunt Asia rolls down her window to try to see the house numbers on 15. She calls out as we pass. 345, 347, no number, can't see, 365. I keep hoping that we don't find the number I told her, the one I got by calling the school, because I haven't even thought about what to say to Cherise if we do find our house. What will she think when she opens the door and sees somebody from math club standing there? But then Aunt Asia shouts, there it is! And our car slides into the driveway with a soft crunch of snow. I'm not sure we'll ever get out the driveway again by the way the car sounded. Aunt Asia cuts off the engine, and we peer through the windshield at the house. It's a worn-looking two-story brick house with an old front porch in need of painting. All of the windows in the house are dark. Nobody's home, I say hopefully. You can't never tell, Aunt Asia answers. Maybe the electricity is out. Maybe they don't keep up with their bills. Could be that's one of your friend's problems. Maybe her family's falling on hard times. Families do this time of year. Don't I know it? She rolls her eyes. Half the businesses I usually get, gone this time of year. Aunt Asia fiddles with the heater. I'm going to sit right here and keep things warmer. You go up there and check to see if she's home. You come and get me if you need me, Rondell. She smiles at me and pats me on my arm. You'll do fine, hon. All you have to do is be a good listener. I want to sit in the warm car with Aunt Asia and not go anywhere. I stare at the house number on the paper in my hands and try to decide what to say to Sharice if she answers the door. Just checking to see if you're okay. Everybody was worried after you left, so I thought I'd stop and see about you. Mr. Collins told me to come by. Looking up at that house with no lights and the snow swirling around it, I feel as if the house has a big sign saying, "Go away, keep out, closed." Don't forget to check the back door, too, Aunt Asia calls out as I slide slowly out of the car. Some people don't answer front doors, you know. On the front porch, a big pile of rolled up yellow newspaper and junk mail fills the space between the screen door and the front door. It looks as if nobody has used the door in months, and the only footprints I can see on the porch are cat prints and thin layers of snow. I reach my hand behind the broken screen door and try knocking on the inside door, but nobody answers. As I walk around to the back, I can feel the snow drifting into my shoes and soaking my socks. The yellow headlight from Aunt Asia's car shine ahead of me like two flashlights. With the swirling snow and the darkness of the house and yard, I don't know what makes me notice the bits of colored paper on the snow beside the house. Perhaps the headlights from Aunt Asia's car catch a few of them, but when I see the torn pieces scattered across the snow, a jolt goes through me. My heart begins pounding. Watch out, watch out, watch out, on its own, as if it knows something's wrong with those pieces being in the yard. I come around the side of the house with my heart pounding. Watch out. And that's when I see the dark shape of somebody sitting on the back porch steps. The shape is huddled over. It's curled up on the steps. I don't even check to see who somebody is. I just go slipping, running, and flying down the driveway to get Aunt Asia. Marcel. What's up with you? Willie Q asks me. Nothing. He crosses his arms and gives me the 5-minute Willie Q army stare. Don't lie to me. Something's wrong, he says. I can read your face like a book. Nothing's wrong. Fights, grades, school, girl trouble. What's up? Nothing. We'll see about that, Willie Q says. He walks over to the counter where we keep the cakes and pies. Goes right to the chocolate cake in the middle. Lifts the round plastic cover and cuts a slab the size of a sidewalk, plops it on the plate, and pushes it in front of me. Sets the fork next to my hand. Have some cake, he tells me. I know better than to eat Willie Q's chocolate truth cake. Sweet enough to make tongues start talking. That's what it says on the menu. Willie Q always insists, if he could have made his chocolate truth cake in Vietnam, even the enemy would have talked. You can see the look in people's faces after they take the first bite. They try the first mouthful of cake kind of fast, and then everything goes into slow motion. Their eyes close. They lick the sweet frosting and cake off of one side of the fork. Then they turn it over and get every last crumb and speck on the other side. Man, that's good. That's real good, they say. And then they start talking. They tell us about their family, where they grew up, who made the best cake and who didn't. What's going on in their life now, money problems, health problems, no job. But how a bite of this good cake has made them feel better. Sugar does wonders, they declare. Me and Willie Q just nod our heads. Chocolate truth cake, we say, works wonders every time. but it ain't gonna work for me. I push the cake to the side, go back to thinking about what happened at school again, how it felt to see all that work torn apart, how it meant that none of us would have a chance in getting our names in the news. Probably be working at Willie Q's barbecue the rest of my life, giving folks my big I shoulda coulda been in Hollywood, but instead I'm working here smile. Willie Q pushes the cake back in front of me. Talked to my friend Joe at your school today, he says slowly. You remember Joe, right? The one who was in Vietnam with me? I nod. Willie Q leans closer, giving me his army interrogator look. Joel told me some vandals broke into your school and ruined a big project some of the 7th grade kids are working on with their math teacher. He said it was a real sad sight. Don't suppose you know anything about that project, do you, Marcel? I shake my head no. Not much, I say. Willie Q points his finger about 2 inches from my face. Don't you keep secrets from Sergeant Willie Q. Williams. I know everything that goes on around here, Marcel. I got eyes and ears in places you don't even know about. That was a project you was working on with those kids, wasn't it? Don't matter now, does it? I answer. Willie Q goes over to chocolate truth cake and cuts another sidewalk slab for himself. He slides it onto the counter and sits down next to me. Joe told me you were staying after school and working on that project with those other kids. He says, taking a big bite of that cake, don't think I didn't know what you were doing. Joe checked it out for me a while ago. Willie Q points at my plate. Keep eating the cake, he says. Then we'll talk. So this is the recipe for Willie Q's cake. It says Willie Q's chocolate truth cake. 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of sugar. 1/4 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a dash of cinnamon, 3/4 cup of milk, 1/4 cup of shortening, 1 egg, half teaspoon vanilla, and 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. So you preheat the oven to 350 degrees. In a bowl, you combine flour, sugar, cocoa powder, baking soda, salt, and cinnamon. Add the milk, shortening, egg, and vanilla. Mix it with an electric mixer, medium speed, for about 2 minutes or until well mixed. So you pour the batter into a 9 1/2 inch round baking pan that has been greased and floured. Sprinkle chocolate chips onto the batter. Bake at 350 degrees for 30 to 35 minutes or until a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean. Allow it to cool for 10 minutes, then remove the cake from pan and cool thoroughly on a baking rack. Frost with a thick layer of sweet chocolate frosting and wait for the truth to come out. I hope you enjoyed this part of the reading of all the above. Have a good day.